Yes, yes, yes. You're locked into another episode of the Red Sea podcast with your host, Tiago's father. And I am joined by my co-host, Southern Scouser, and the amazing Courtney B. We assessed Burnley, Liverpool at Turf Moor. Can we go there and make it 2 wins this season, or are Burnley going to potentially foil our title charge? We get into all of it on the other side of this intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are all supporters, and we come from Liverpool.
Yes, guys, we're back on your TV screens, your laptop screens, your mobile phone screens, your iPad screens, whatever view that you are taking, but we are back. And the lovely background of Turf Moor. Is it a happy hunting ground? I don't know, because Burnley are an absolute shithouse of a team. So I'm not sure how we're going to fare when we turn up and the Reds rock in to Burnley. I'm sure Courtney B will be able to tell us, because she's from Burnley. Aren't you, Courtney?
Yeah, unfortunately so.
That's sins.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like something to be proud of.
With that team.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like something to be proud of. But I'm sure they're all singing there going, Burnley, 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 Burnley. Shithouse fucking team. But we're here, we're back, and we're going to be discussing everything Burnley versus Liverpool at Turf Moor tomorrow. What do we reckon, SS? What are the head-to-head saying? Because I know Burnley are a team that have been able to frustrate us over a number of occasions, and I'm praying that doesn't happen tomorrow, because Manchester City won against Norwich, who are arguably the whipping boys of the Premier League. Burnley are rivaling Norwich, though, for the crown of the whipping boys of the Premier League, because they're not able to actually get a win in how many games?
1 win in 20.
Jesus Christ. 1 win in 20 games. Surely this is the season when we see Burnley get rallied from the Premier League. Talk us through the head-to-head chat.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So, like you alluded to this season, we did beat them on the first day of the season. Me and you were at the game. Nice 2-0 victory. Jota and Mane getting us the 3 points on that occasion. Last season, again, we visited Burnley in May. Nat Phillips getting on the score sheet in a 3-0 win away, which was very nice to see. As we kind of went on that run where we had to win every game to come fourth, and we ended up coming third, which was excellent. Obviously, back in January, so just over a year ago now, we had that horrible 1-0 defeat. Ashley Barnes penalty about the 83rd minute, something like that, when we'd kind of knocked on the door all day long, but Burnley got that one attack, as they do. And it was not a very pleasant.
Bullshit. It was bullshit.
Yeah, not a very pleasant run at home, was it? But yeah, even before that, we had that really annoying 1-1 draw when we did win the league. That was the one game at home we didn't win. We won every single game at home apart from that game that season as well. So like you say, TF, they are that team that have frustrated us in the past. But 2 wins on the bounce currently against the Clarets.
Yeah, and 2 wins on the bounce is decent. Return against the Burnley side, which do set up to frustrate. And we're kind of used to seeing that low block, shithouse kind of football from them, where they'll just smash it long. Yeah, that long ball football, and they'll smash it long into a Chris Wood and try and get him behind. But the man is no more in the claret and blue. He switched the claret and blue for the black and white of Liverpool in Toontown, and probably the best move for him if he's looking to protect his Premier League status and stay in the Premier League. I mean, the key thing and the key question, I'll come to you first on this, Courtney. Burnley have flirted with relegation for a number of seasons now. They've always been in and around that drop zone, apart from the 17-18 season, where they managed to finish 7th and actually secure some European football. But that almost gave them the kiss of death, really, didn't it? It was kind of a step too far from there. They didn't have it was downhill even worse, and they didn't have the squad depth to cope with the European football. But, I mean, is this the season where Burnley finally get relegated? Because Sean Dyche has managed to keep them in the Premier League for 6 seasons. Will this come to an end this year?
Yeah, they're definitely getting relegated. And I think as well, COVID has just fucked them up as well. Obviously, all these games in hand that they've got to play, they've got to fit them in somehow. So that's going to be a frustration for them. Obviously, it's easy because they haven't got European football, but it's still going to be, they'll be coming a bit quicker. So I think they've just fucked themselves basically in that sense with all COVID and all these getting them postponed. So I think they're definitely going down. And I'll be glad to see them go.
You know what? And this is the thing. A lot of fans, a lot of rival fans, right, have said the same thing. They'd be glad, and SS, I'll come to you. They'll be glad to see the back of Burnley in the Premier League. I mean, why is that? Because Sean Dyche is actually quite a likable character. He's honest. He says it as it is.
He came at Klopp in the tunnel. Nah. Nah, that man is dead to me. If you put again, we got beef. We got beef.
But all that to one side. I mean, he's an honest guy. He says it as it is. He comes out in the press conferences. He doesn't dress it up. You know, he's a likable character, and I almost kind of think that he could have potentially been on to bigger and better things. I mean, the Everton job was floating around at one point. The Crystal Palace job floating around. I mean, I don't get it. So, what's your thoughts, SS?
Well, Sean Dyche, he's had a good time at Burnley, but
you might be impressive, mate. You can't do it.
Oh, I need to get the Darth Vader in there. Now, to be fair, I don't mind Burnley. Like, they're the modern day Stoke, aren't they? They kind of have the shithouse tactics, the big men, launch it to the forwards. And when you haven't got a budget, you've got 1p for every £1 million that Man United have, then you have to find a different way to win matches, don't you? So they've got one or two decent players. I like Pope. I think he's a very underrated goalie. He did have that kind of season where he was injured. I think he missed a whole season. I think if he didn't, he could have even become England's #1 goalie and potentially got a move. But the likes of, if they do go down, the likes of Tarkowski, Mead, Pope are all quite good. I think they'll be being looked at by Premier League teams. But my the bit I like the most about this Burnley team is actually the wide men, because they play a flat 4-4-2, which is very traditional, not something you see very often. And they've got McNeil and Maxwell Cornet on the wings, who I think are both top players. If Burnley go down, they will not be playing in the Championship next season. But I think Sean Dyche has done a cracking job. That the budget there is appalling. They've got like Jay Rodriguez up front, and they signed Aaron Lennon, let him go, and then re-signed him back. Aaron Lennon, the only thing that made him a professional footballer was that he was quick, and when he's 35, he's no longer quick. So that shows you the level that they're kind of operating at. They're looking at potentially trying to stay up in the division. January comes, yes, they lose Chris Wood because he's a buyout clause of 25 million to a direct rival. I think they've done well with Weghorst, who we'll probably get onto. I think he looks a decent signing for 12 million pounds. But again, it's, I think they needed a little bit more. But you look at the midfield, Westwood and Brownhill, it's not a Premier League midfield. Fullbacks, Peters and Roberts, it's not enough. So I agree with Courtney. I think this is the time that they do eventually go down. But we've seen it before. They got relegated, and I think, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And they stuck with Dyche. Burnley and Dyche, I think, suit each other very well. The expectations of each other are very acceptable. And I do think if they go down, they'll stick with him. And I do think he'll bring them back up again.
I mean, I don't know if Burnley and Dyche suit each other very well. I think Sean Dyche is probably onto an easy job, because, I mean, what are Burnley's expectations when they go into the league every single year? Is it just survival? Is that where they're at? They're hardly a team based on where they're geographically located that can attract the world's best talent if they were to have any investment. So a Burnley's kind of prospects and what they're looking to achieve every single year is probably wildly different from maybe a Newcastle, and what they're looking to achieve every year, probably wildly different from what Leeds are looking to achieve every year. And I would probably say very different from what Sheffield United were looking to achieve when they sat out in the Premier League, or even a Norwich, because it's not exactly the most attractive proposition if you're a talented footballer to go and play who fit football at Burnley.
But you say that though, you say
Nobody
that.
was there.
It was successful because the teams that you've rolled off there, Sheffield United came up, went back down again. Norwich up, down. West Brom up, down. They've, like you said, they've been in there for about 6 seasons. So yes, it's not easy on the eye at all. But
it's effective. It's very effective.
It's effective. Yeah, you can't afford to buy players to go to that next step. You've mentioned, look at teams that have come up: Leeds, Aston Villa, Wolves, teams that have had to spend hundreds of millions of pounds or come up with a lot of talent and a certain style. But even Leeds are starting to struggle now. So it does show you the money that you have to spend to come up from the Championship and become, a team that survives for that long. But they've been there for 6 years and they've barely spent anything at all. So I think hats off to them personally.
Well, you make some good points there because we talk about Burnley becoming the new Stoke. Tony Pulis done an amazing job at Stoke. And then Stoke went in a direction where they sacked Pulis because the fans said, "Oh, we're fed up of this hoof-it football. This stalemate checkers game of football. We want to play more expansive. We've been in the league for a long time because Stoke stabilised in the league for a very very long time." And they said, "Look, we want to transition away from that." Got in Sparky, got in names such as Shaqiri, Ibrahim Afellay, Bojan. Can you believe they had Bojan Kirkic and Ibrahim Afellay at Stoke City? Unreal. And they just kind of whittled away.
They should have just stuck to the Delap Fuller throwing routine, really, shouldn't they?
This is what I'm saying. They had Peter Crouch there for a while. They gave it a real go, and you can never turn around and say they didn't. But I just think, is that the next step for Burnley? Do they need to, in order to try and give their supporters something, do they need to give it a go? I mean, I'm not a Burnley fan. Courtney might be able to say better than I can, but are the people of Burnley happy with what they're seeing from their team? Are they just happy to have a team in the Premier League?
I mean, at the minute, they're definitely not happy. They don't think it's good enough, and I think they've all accepted they're getting relegated from what I've seen. I don't think there's any hope there. I think they know they're going down, and I think that they just can't compete, and they do need to play better football. They're just getting dominated week in, week out. I think they know that. I think they do think there needs to be a change, but I don't think any of them are after Sean Dyche out or anything like that.
They just want him to change his tactics.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever will, though, will he? I mean, I think Burnley statistically are the worst team in England in the 92. I think they've won 1 game at home in a year. Something like that. Like you say, you talk about, are the Burnley fans happy? Yes, it's great to call yourself a Premier League club, but if you're just clawing on by your fingernails and shithousing yourself to 15 draws a season, eventually you are going to be sick of it, aren't you? So I think they've had their time in the league, that they've, they're happy that they've been able to maintain their Premier League status. But I agree with you, James. I think after that amount of time, like a Stoke, it's worth the risk, isn't it? Let's try something different. If it fails, we go down and we come back and we try again. But there's just be a Premier League team that finishes 16th, 17th, 15th every year playing crap. For me, it's pretty boring. It's more fun going up and going down, getting in the playoffs. Trying to win a trophy in the Championship. But
that's it, though. That's a great point, SS, and and you kind of stole my thunder. If you're no, because it's a great conversation point. If you're a Burnley fan, and I'm a believer in competing. Yeah. If you're a Burnley fan, would you be happy with winning the Championship or going to the playoffs every year and winning the playoffs, going into the Premier League, having a year of giving it a real go? Giving it a real go, going out and playing some expansive football, some entertaining stuff. You might have the odd moment in there where you get the odd fast break and you think, oh, wow, that was a great goal. We played some really, really good stuff there. But going down and then winning the Championship again. I mean, Norwich are the kings of it.
They really are. Their trophy cabinet is fantastic.
Winning out of the league. And every time they come up, they win the Championship. They come into the Premier League. They try and play Brazilian-esque style football. They get their ass handed to them, and then they're like, that was great. Let's do it again.
Literally.
Every year, it's like,
brilliant.
Wow. We've just got smashed 7-0 by Liverpool. Let's do it again.
100%. So good.
So I just think Well, do Burnley not want to ride that kind of roller coaster that Norwich have been on? We've even seen Newcastle do it in recent years, where they've got relegated. Yeah, they got relegated. They just annihilate the Championship. All the supporters get a massive day out, and they pack the ground, because St James's was packed right throughout their Championship campaign. That place is always freaking rocking.
I just want to see goals and wins.
At the bottom of the league or not, that place is always rocking. So I just think, is it the same with Burnley? Can Burnley not get in on that a little bit? Do they not want that?
It's an interesting question, because, again, I was watching a few different previews, and I think Burnley are in this position where I think they've got 10 players out of contract in the summer, and they've already got quite a small squad. You know, the Palace situation where Vieira walked in and literally half the squad had already walked out the door. So if they do go down and they lose 10 players, you've then got, like you said, to try and attract 10 players to get you out of the Championship. And we've seen Barker Senior putting a great list up there a minute ago. Blackburn, Bolton, who else was in there? Wigan, Stoke as well. Teams that have gone down. You know, you look at the Championship, it's like a graveyard of ex-Premier League teams now. You look through that league and you're like, yep, they were there. Swansea, Cardiff, Reading, and they're all really, really struggling. So I would back Dyche to bring them back up again, but it's a big job because it's a very competitive division now. So sometimes it's good. You look at teams like Newcastle. If they go down, they kind of use it as a reset button. You get all of these crap players off the wage bill, off they go. You start again, bring some youth players through, add one or two Championship players of the best of the rest in that league to get yourself back up again. But I feel like Burnley, it would have the opposite effect. I don't think it would be a reset. I think it would be a completely catastrophic, separation of the current Premier League squad that they have. And I think it would take a lot of rebuilding in the summer. They'll get the relegation parachute payments, but like you say, they're going to have to invest. You look at the teams at the top of the Championship now, Bournemouth, Fulham, they're spending big money to get back into the Premier League. And it is a risk. You look at teams like Derby, spend money they haven't got, and then they're in big trouble. So it's getting harder and harder to get out of that division.
I mean, and this is just it. Could this relegation be if, look, it's not over till the fat lady sings. The writing's not on the wall until it's on the wall. So Burnley could escape. Let's be real. Anything can change between now and May, yeah. But if the writing is on the wall and they are faced with relegation, they've got 10 players out of contract. Could this be the prime opportunity for them to hit that reset button and kind of reproposition themselves, go for a younger type of player? Yeah, because the average age of their squad is probably 32. The average age of their squad.
Aging squad, big time aging squad, yeah.
They were able to get Chris Wood off the books, but he's hardly some spring pup. So they've got an aging squad. And all of a sudden, if you can get rid of 10 players that you didn't really want there anyway, let's be honest, and you're only having them there because you have to have them there. There's no real resale value, and you turn around and saying to a potential up and coming young player, look, we're in a Championship, but we're going to give this a real go. We're going to spend some money, to get us out of the Championship. Do you fancy coming along for the ride?
Yeah,
I think a lot of young players would do that. Regular.
I mean, if they do go down, the players that I've mentioned there as well, Dwight McNeil, you're going to get 25-30 million pounds for. Cornet, probably something similar. Tarkowski, he's out of contract in the summer. That's the only issue. That would have been a big sale. But
Tarkowski, he refused to sign the deal, and then they refused to sell him. There was rumours of him going to West Ham. They refused. They priced him out of a sale. There was rumours of him going to Leicester. When they signed, who did they sign? When they signed Vestergaard, there was rumours of him going Leicester. They priced him out of the deal, so they get everything they deserve if he walks out of there on a free. They get everything they deserve because they thought, we'll be greedy and we'll try and get him. We'll try and keep him. But then on the flip side, if I'm looking at it subjectively, they might have turned around and said, look, we're trying to stay in the division. If he walks out of here on a free, and we survive, that's great business. Do you see what I'm saying? And to try and drop down into the Championship and get back out of the Championship, they're going to need McNeil to stay, because without him, it don't tip. They're going to need.
I'd love him at Liverpool. I think he's brilliant.
Well. I love McNeil.
I think he'd be a perfect backup for Trent. I think right wing back would suit him perfectly.
100%. I think he's good enough to have a Premier League career playing for a top side, but being an understudy or a backup to a player. But the beautiful thing with McNeil is he can play. He's left and right-footed.
He's quality.
He's just as good on both, and he's brave. He's fearless. He's aggressive. He's got a little bit of something in him. You know, ex-Man United as well. So came through the Man United academy, and then obviously, you know, ended up at Burnley. And you know, whilst I hate Manchester United, they do produce players out of their academy. So you kind of have to give a bit of a nod to that. But McNeil, in order for them to come back up if they do get relegated, would have to stay at Burnley, because it becomes a very, very different proposition if you lose a player of that caliber. Same as Cornet as well. How they'd hold on to him, I don't know. But those two would be, you know, big losses if they were to leave. Big time. So we've discussed Burnley and how we think they should be relegated, and how the writing is probably on the wall. The trapdoor is looming. Yeah. All it needs is just for someone to press that button and they're down and they're out. But let's talk more about the Reds, obviously. So Liverpool won their first game of the season against Burnley. Burnley are a team which come to frustrate. Let's discuss the game plan from both sides, because I feel like there is an art form to being a shithouse of a team. There is an art form to this. You don't just... But this was saying, there is a tactical element to this. There is an art form to this. We can't ignore it. There are managers which have successfully done it to frustrate us. We talk about Burnley. We talk about Chelsea. Chelsea do it as well when they're good and ready to just be total shithouses and park the bus. And it's not an unknown thing that Liverpool do sometimes struggle against a low block team. So let's look at it from the Liverpool perspective. No, excuse me. Let's look at it from the Burnley perspective to start with. Yeah. You turn up to Turf Moor, yeah, Dwight McNeil and co, and you look at the team sheet and you go, fuck. Mane's back. Damn it. They're playing Jota through the middle, the pressing master. Oh, fuck. And the best player in world football's back in as well. Jesus Christ. In the midfield, they're looking at it and they're sitting there going, Harvey Elliott's back and he tore us a new one in the first game of the season.
Yeah, spot on.
Then they're going, Fabinho, the best DM in world football. God. Thiago Alcantara is back in. He's about to put on a passing clinic. Jesus Christ, what are you going to do with that? And then you've got the best fullbacks in world football in Robbo and Trent, the best defender in world football in Virgil van Dijk, and his able, trusted partner in Joel Matip.
Incoming 0-0 now after that speech.
And then they look between the sticks and they see the best goalkeeper in world football. If you're Sean Dice, do you tell me to say, listen, boys, just go out there and have some fun? Or do you say, right, this is what we're going to do? So how do you feel they're going to play? Are they going to come and have a go? Or are they going to just shithouse it and park the bus and try and catch us on a counter-attack?
Shithouse it.
Yeah. Short and sweet.
Park the bus, and then hoof it and try and get on the end of it.
But they're in a pivotal point. They cannot afford to lose it, yeah. But at the same time, they can't afford not to win it. They've got no wins in 20. They've got to do something. 1 in 20. 1 win in 20. They've got to do something. So
they know though that if they come at us, we're just going to rip them apart.
They're the sort of team. I mean,
they're better against teams that go at it and go for it, and they'll know that.
What I was quite impressed with, I'll give them a little bit of credit. They went 1-0 down at home to Man United, and they had to come out. They had no other option, and they did it, and they scored. It was a decent goal. Weghorst won the ball. Jay Rodriguez got poked through, and once they're back to level, they're back to the shithouse part of the bus tactics again, aren't they? But I look at their lineup from that Man United game. Eric Peters at left back, 33. Ben Mee left centre back, 32. Mo Salah back in that team, they can't.
Oh,
They
you got
can't handle
hamstrings. You got hamstrings going.
Yeah, he's going to be breaking some ankles.
Yeah, you got hamstrings going. You got
like you say,
you
got Jota through the middle in the form of his life. You've got Mane or Diaz on the left hand side. Probably Diaz to start, Mane to probably come on, and like you say, the energy in the midfield now. If we start with an Elliott and a Jones, Thiago, Fabinho, on paper, there's no way that we don't win this game comfortably. But as we've seen before with Burnley in the past, they shithouse their way to decent results. And looking at the table, yes, they're 20th, but they've not, out of 12 games this season, out of 20, they've not, they've either drawn or won it. So they don't lose much. They don't win a lot. They frustrate. So they'll try and keep it at level level for as long as possible tomorrow. So we need a nice early goal. That would be the tactics from me for Klopp. Get the early goal, get the second, and then there's no way back for Burnley, because if the longer that's 0-0, or if they get a goal, it's going to be a very long afternoon.
So SS is saying from both sides, Burnley sit in and try and get us on the counter attack. And then he's saying that we need to get a stranglehold on the game early doors to get the goal.
Yeah.
But I want to go into more depth with this. How do we get the stranglehold? Is the battle with our forward players suffocating them with a high press? Is the battle won in the midfield in terms of how we go about keeping the ball and trying to penetrate? Is the defense going to be the key? I mean, Courtney, where is the key battleground in this game? Where does Klopp need Liverpool to be at their best to get a result in this game?
It's that final third, because we'll dominate it. We'll have possession. Our midfield hates, but it's just a case of just pinging it across. It's actually penetrating and getting through in that final third and finishing the chances that we actually get.
Okay, so you're saying that we're going to have the lion's share of the ball.
Yeah.
We'll have the lion's share of the ball. So you want to see penetrating runs from the forward line to try and get in behind? Are we talking about crosses? What are we going to do to try and get this goal? Because Burnley, in terms of their back four, they're tall, they're dominant.
Yeah, through the line.
So through the line, so breaking the defensive line.
Skill, speed. That's where we beat them.
Okay, so my feeling, my thought process in terms of tactical is, you're right, going to be to break the defensive line. And the only way I see us breaking the defensive line is us getting closer to them. I think we've got to play in and amongst them. I don't think we're gonna win it. Although Jota is an absolute fucking salmon. But I don't think we're gonna win it through crossing.
Yeah, aerial. We're just not. We can't compete really.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the key. Yeah, and what that does is, if you're flooding too many bodies into the box, that gives them the opportunity to counter on us. Just get the ball up top and counter. So my thought process would be to play up against them and play in amongst them. Yeah, which would mean runs from deep. So you want to see maybe a Harvey Elliott making a run, or you might want to see Trent making an overlap in behind Mo Salah to create that panic, that confusion, where someone goes, "Oh fuck, I've got Trent running at me and Salah's about to spin in behind. Shit, do I go ball? Do I go man? What do I do?" And at that point, we can then maybe get it across the box for a lovely Jota tap in or something to that effect, rather than the ball going in above shoulder height, and they're just gonna nod it out every time, and then you're gonna hear get out. They'll all get out again. The ball goes in, they nod it out again. You know that reset kind of football where it goes out, you bring the line back up again, it goes back in again, it goes out again, you bring the line back up again. So I think, like you say, more ball and more penetrating runs is where it's going to be. How do we feel about that?
I think so. I think, you look at Tarkowski and Mead, they are literally like, and Pope is a very tall goalkeeper. They're a brick wall. The amount of crosses that we like to just literally twat in constantly with no results. We need to avoid that. And I agree with you with the overlap. You look at Dwight McNeil and Cornet as left mid and right mid, the old kind of Giggs Beckham positions. We need to turn them into defenders rather than giving Burnley an option to counter-attack. So Robertson needs to turn McNeil into a right back, and Trent needs to turn Cornet into a left back, because their back four is literally going to become a narrow back four centre backs. Those two will become the wing backs, and then you've got a midfield battle of Westwood, Brownhill versus a Thiago and an Elliott and a Fabinho. You'd expect to win that, and Rodriguez and Weghorst will be man to man with Van Dijk and Matip, who will easily have them together, and Fabinho can easily drop back in there as well. So I agree. I think we need to see. We saw in the last game with Liverpool, Robertson and Diaz linking up really, really well. Little 1-2s, overlaps, getting the ball across the goal. And like you say, Jota sniffing around and Salah coming in at the back post. And it gives you that option because on the right-hand side, Trent can get the ball in early. He can overlap Salah. Salah can cut in on his left foot. So many options that the likes of Peters, Tarkowski, Brownhill, Westwood, they're not going to have any answers. So like you say, as long as we avoid pointless crosses into the box, 30 crosses, and it's just going to hit a brick wall every time. We've got to be a bit more inventive. So hopefully Thiago is on his game because he could be the key.
I like that.
I thought you would.
I agree. And these are the kind of games that bringing the Thiago in is gonna help with more ball retention. We keep the ball and try and draw Burnley out. Burnley are going to be well disciplined. They're going to be resolute. They're going to stay in within their lines. They're going to be compact. They're going to try to make sure that they suffocate us in the midfield areas in order to try and win the ball and stop us and just frustrate. Because when you're very compact, there's no lines to play through. And this is why I say we need to play up against them. Because we play up against them, the ball can go in, you're comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, it can then go out wide, you then get in behind. But the only way you're going to do that is by being in amongst them. Because if you try and stand off them, they're just going to sit compact. They'll go, okay, go wide. No problem. We'll just drop back. We'll clear it. We'll reset. And that's the difference. Tactical play and how we go about it tactically and breaking it down tactically is the difference. And I personally, I think, like you said, Thiago is the key. He's able to pass the ball. He's able to move the ball from left to right, keep the ball ticking over, ball tempo, speed of pass, tempo of the game, which is going to help us going forward as well. But enough about Burnley. Yeah, we've gone on about them a little bit too much. And the King of Africa returns. So Sadio Mane back from the AFCONs after leading Senegal to their first African Cup of Nations triumph is back in training. The key question is, does he start against Burnley? And the reason why I ask, Champions League football returns on Tuesday. We go up against an opponent, Inter Milan, which are flying in Serie A and could potentially do back-to-back Scudettos in Serie A without Romelu Lukaku. Does Mane start? Because we're going to talk a little bit about the Diaz impact after, but does Mane start? Does he come back and go, listen, Lewis, you're the new kid on the block, pal. You got to earn your stripes around here. Yeah, this is my playground. You play when I say you play. Or does Diaz say, sorry, mate, you've been away for a little while. I've got your shirt, pal. You need to earn it back. Where could this go?
That's a good point.
I don't think he'll start. I don't think he personally will. I think Diaz will start, and I can see him coming on in like the 60th minute, something like that, given in the last portion of the game. I can't see him starting just because he's played a lot of football. Like, he needs a little bit of a break. He's been celebrating.
If you want my opinion, I don't want him anywhere near the squad. I want him nowhere near the matchday squad. It's not necessary. I said this with Salah, and I retain the same feelings with Sadio Mane. He does not need to be near the matchday squad.
Do you want him to play against Inter though? You're just going to just shove him straight into that squad without playing a game with us? I
feel the game he comes back into is the Inter game.
Nah.
That's how I. The reason why I feel that way is because we're playing against Burnley. Diaz is slotted in like a glove. He's always been there. Let the kid go out and rinse Burnley. Yeah, let him go and rinse Burnley. And you turn around and say to him, listen, pal, yeah, let's keep your mojo going. You're going to go and rinse Inter's back four as well. But at the 50th, 60th minute, Sadio's going to come in Yeah, you get Sadio in the game, and he's going to be itching for it. Yeah, to get back in. You create that hunger, and I'm just concerned because the level of games that he's played back to back for Senegal in that heat as well. It's not just the tempo of the football. And an SS, I know that you said that the standard of football in the AFCON isn't somewhat Premier League standard, which I can get with that. I understand that. But it's the heat exhaustion. He stepped off a plane. The day later, he's back in training. I know these are pros, but that must take its toll on your body. And then to go in and play against a horrible physical side like Burnley, it just worries me. And we saw Mo Salah go down in the Leicester game, and we all went, "Oh,
that's your fault." That was bad vibes in the group chat. That was your bad vibes in the group chat. Don't be coming like that. Honestly, you put that negative energy out there. You manifested that shit. You manifested that shit. So
could not agree more.
Listen, listen. I just come and say as it is. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
That one.
Hate the player. Hate the game. All I was just saying is that I would be pissed, and in the same way I would be pissed
out there
if anything were to happen to either of those guys, because they've played a lot of football. Yeah. What was Mo? Something like 400 plus minutes of ball. Freaking hell. That's unreal. 400 minutes of ball. And he went to extra times in those as well.
480 minutes, weren't it, in the last 4 games?
Donkulous. That's ridiculous.
I mean, for me, I don't think Mane starts. I think he may come on, but I think the question we should be asking is it Diaz or Firmino to start, because we started up against in our last game with Diaz on the left, Jota on the right, and Firmino in the middle. Obviously, Mo Salah come on, and Mo Salah's going to start this game. Jota's going to start this game. So is it Diaz or Firmino that misses out? Do we stick Diaz on the left, Jota through the middle, or do we put Jota on the left and stick with Bobby? I think that's the question. That's a tough call.
Yeah. That is a real tough call. That is a real tough call. I mean,
good options though.
Yeah.
And
nice
that's the
to
thing.
have the option.
Yeah.
It is a lovely thing to have the option. But do we need to tip the apple cart? Do we need to tip the apple cart at the expense of just throwing Mane in for this homecoming? I just
now on the phone.
No, I just don't think it's necessarily the best way forward. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
No, Mane doesn't start, but
I feel like he just wanted to have a bit of football.
Yeah, I agree. Out of Diaz and Mane, out of Diaz and Firmino, whoever does start, one of them are going to come on. So that's already 4 of the front 3 coming on. Henderson's apparently back in the team. Klopp said in his pre-match that he's going to be involved. Whether that's from the start, I'm not sure, but that's another sub. Henderson won't play 90. He'll either start or come on. So that's 2 subs. Klopp rarely makes a third until 5-10 minutes from the end, like a Minamino, because just in case you get an injury. So it's an interesting one. I don't think Firmino or Diaz get any less than 30 minutes. I think Henderson gets at least an hour if he starts, or half hour if he comes on. So even if Mane does get on, it's not going to be for much. 5-10 minutes at the end, possibly.
Okay, cool. So let's assess this. Who's your front 3? Go balls on the chopping board. Who's your front 3?
Go on, Courtney.
No, SS. Who's
your
front 3?
Okay. Sorry.
No. Who's your front 3? Don't try and pass.
No. Honestly, I get shit on in this all the time.
Yeah. Who's your front 3, son? Go
on. I would go Diaz, Jota, Salah. Sorry,
okay.
Courtney. I know you like Bobby Daz.
I do love Bobby.
Who's your front 3, Courtney?
I feel like Bobby does quite well against Burnley. I feel like he'll do quite in the type of football that we need to play, tricky, intricate passes. I feel like I could see Bobby, Jota, Salah. I feel like the way that Firmino plays, I feel like he'll do well against Burnley. He normally does.
Okay, guys in the comments, throw your front three in the comments for me. And while we're doing that, while we're asking you to do that, it's a good time to obviously say like and subscribe. We're still on the way to 600 subs.
Been saying that forever.
Guys, get us there. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell your mum, tell someone. Yeah? We need to get 600 subs. We'd love for you to be one of those guys as well.
I just think with the front three thing, Jota's the most in-form goal scorer in the world at the moment. So would you have to start him, in my opinion, through the middle. So I think Bobby naturally misses out because Bobby doesn't play wide. He's not that kind of player. At least Jota has that option. So I think he gets a little bit of an advantage in terms of a head-to-head. But to chuck Diaz in, he played really, really well. He came on against Cardiff. He started the next one. To drop him out of it, I think would be a little bit harsh, personally. Firmino came off in that game midweek against Leicester. I don't personally think he played particularly well. Yeah, he does Bobby things, but I think we've evolved past him now. I really do.
My man.
I know. For me, number 9 should be a goal scorer and your top goal scorer. And Jota versus Bobby is a.
But why?
Jota's better at goal scoring.
But why? We and this is the thing. It's like as Liverpool fans, we're now getting spoiled, so we're on to the next thing. Bobby has been a fixture of how, and look, I'm not into this whole player loyalty thing, whether you just play because of your name. No, yes, there needs to be competition for places. Yes, Jota is in form, but like I keep saying to everybody, different tools for different jobs. We are in a fantastic position in terms of our squad, the whole squad. We're not just talking the front three or the midfield or the defensive line. We have got options all over the park, everywhere. So naturally, and Jurgen Klopp said it perfectly, he's no longer picking a team based on what they did yesterday. He's picking a team based on what they need to do tomorrow, which is the player type, profile of player. So I'm no Jurgen Klopp, but I am a football coach at whatever level you want to put it at, and I've got some qualifications behind me, and I'm looking at it. And if I'm thinking about how I want my team to play against a Burnley team, of my attackers, especially in the first 60 minutes, I can't think of anybody better that's potentially going to bring the likes of Salah and Diaz into play, because I feel like we need that. So Bobby can combine and help get players in behind. That's how I would see it. And then if it ain't working, you turn around and say to Jota, go on,
do you think?
Go and do your thing.
Even if you play Bobby, you don't drop Jota. If you play Bobby, Jota has to play somewhere on the left.
You never know, it's Burnley.
Burnley are hard to score against. You have to play the guy that's in red hot form.
We got Salah. There's goals in the team. There's goals there.
You do not drop Salah. You do not drop Jota out of that team. Yes, you can pick Firmino through the middle over him, but you do not drop Jota. That is idiotic.
So Jota. So you drop Jota for.
Then drop Jota for anyone.
So you take Jota out.
If you play Firmino, then Diaz is out. Yeah, because Jota plays.
But all Jota's goals have come through the middle. He's less
effective. On the left at times. He started on the right and scored against Leicester. Yes, it was a corner.
He's less effective from that side. It's shown that he's scoring, and this is interesting because big shout out to Mate at Redmen TV, because I put that clip in the group and we watched that. And that was one of the kind of the conversation points in that clip was the fact that Liverpool have got options. All of those boys can play across every single position in that front three. But like you said, like we're saying, he can play there, but most of his goal contributions have come through the middle. So if I'm gonna have Jota in, he goes down the middle. And also Firmino, whilst he can play it operate off the left and he can operate off the right, he's not as effective. So he plays through the middle. So I would personally, if it were me, I would go Diaz, Firmino, Salah, see how you're getting on at 60 minutes, and then you turn around and if for whatever freaking ungodly reason we haven't scored a goal, you then go, Jota, go on, go through the middle, take Bobby off, bring Mane on as well. Mane and Jota come on, and then you just rinse that.
We all got different front threes. We've all got different front threes.
You rinse that back four. You rinse that back four for the remaining 30 minutes. They ain't gonna want to see. They ain't gonna want to see Mane and Jota coming off the bench, and they're gonna go, "Oh fuck, we just dealt with the Colombian dude for freaking 60 minutes. Now they want to bring the king of Africa on. Oh, for crying out loud!"
I think you bring Firmino and Mane on. I think if you're struggling, you could go to that front four, put Firmino in the 10 behind the Jota, with start with Diaz and Salah wide, and then bring Mane on for Diaz. If you're really struggling, you end up with the standard front four before Diaz arrived. If you really push in, but if there's no way in the world that Jota does not start tomorrow somewhere, for me, if he doesn't, I'd be amazed. But to have the top goal scorer in the league, bar Mo Salah, on the bench against anybody, I don't care if it's Burnley or Man City. Yes, different tools for different games, but when someone's in that much red hot form, scoring, every single week, goals against Arsenal, hat tricks, couple in midweek, he has to play. And I agree, he is through the middle, preferably. But even if you go with Firmino, there's no way that Diaz starts over Jota, in my opinion, just yet. Even though he was great, Salah definitely starts, but it's a nice option to have. The fact that we're discussing 5 names for 3 positions when we've had 3 names for 3 positions for about 3 years is fantastic. So if you've now got the option to change it up, you look at Manchester City today. Sterling comes in with a hat trick. Probably won't even be in the team next week. Grealish wasn't even in the squad. So we're not quite at that level where we have to leave one of them out altogether. But the fact we've got 2 fantastic options on the bench, and we're having a discussion now of who's going to miss out in the matchday squad. The likes of Minamino, Ox, Keita might not even get a kick. Which this is how you win titles.
All right, so quickly, let's go to a couple of comments, guys. So shout out to you guys in here. Let's discuss a couple of their front threes. So
good ones, isn't it?
Dan's got Diaz, Jota, Salah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that's where SS is leading with this. Ali's got Jota, Diaz, Salah.
Correct.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah. Barkasini's got Jota, Mo, Bobby.
Me.
Okay, so there's a variation there as well.
My daughter.
Dan's got the apple never rots far from the tree. Dan's got Diaz, Jota, Salah.
Yeah, well done, Dan.
Yeah.
In the SS club.
My man's got Salah, Bobby, Diaz. This is where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Have we got anybody else in here? No. That's all the front threes in there, right? But like you're saying, we're in a great position where we've never had this before. So big shout out to Ali A. Massive shout out to you because, dude, you are on my wavelength. What are we saying? Is it time? Is it time to unleash the 4-2-3-1? Shout out to Roy at Top of the Cop. He done a really, really good piece on this. So if you're not following Top of the Cop as well, or you haven't seen it, head over to his YouTube page and he will break it down for you. The evolution of Liverpool. It's a great piece that he did. I think it's a 10-minute piece, so it's not heavy viewing, but it will give you a little insight into what I've been saying as well for a long, long time. We've got options. Any one of those guys can pop up in any one of those positions. So it might on paper look like a 4-2-3-1, but it might actually be a 4-2-4 if we play 4 of those 5 options. So could Bobby, Jota, Salah and Diaz all be on the pitch at once if we're gunning to try and put Burnley to bed? Because that's going to be a conundrum that Sean Dyche can't even. That's a Rubik's Cube, mate. Yeah. How do you crack that? That's the Da Vinci Code, dude. How do you crack that? So
I don't think he'd start with that though. I think that'd be something like a change in game tactic. I don't think we'd start like that. I feel like if we're not getting any luck and we can't break them down, that's when we'd switch.
but I feel that gives that to me is desperate. That's desperate. That looks like an act of desperation. We've only ever seen it in desperate situations. So why can we not start like that? Why can we not play Thiago and Fabinho at the base and say to those players, you've got license to go and thrill. You've got license to tear Burnley apart, because it's no coincidence that Thiago is part of one of the best runs that we've had. He's part of most of our clean sheets. So he's defensively sound. One of the highest outputs in terms of tackles and interceptions in the last game as well. So he is defensively sound. And Fabinho, we know what Fabinho brings. We know what the Hoover brings. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? There's no reason why we can't start with this. Diaz was not brought to the club to hug that bench.
Correct.
He's no way is he coming to Liverpool Football Club and Klopp's turned around and said to him, dude, I like you. We're going to pay the money for you. But you see that thing over there? Pick your seat. It ain't happening. So at some point, we've got to start with this. Why can't it be against Burnley? And then you think on Tuesday, is the first leg at home or away? It's away, isn't it, the first leg?
Yeah, away on Wednesday, I believe.
Right, sorry, Wednesday. So we're away to Milan on Wednesday. That's travelling again for these boys. I think he's going to want to put this to bed pretty quickly. I think he's going to want to go in there, blitz him and say, listen, Diaz, come and rest your ass. Jota, come and rest your ass. Come over here, rest your ass. We got business to handle on Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it
be interesting.
It gives some kind of. Do you know what I mean? What like?
The only problem with that though, we've got about 9 centre midfielders looking for a position, and if you take one of them away, the likes of Keita and Ox aren't going to see the light of day again, are they?
But this is what I'm saying. Normal service can be resumed against Inter if you like. Jordan Henderson is hardly the pinnacle of physical fitness at this present time. So whilst I understand we've got a number of central midfielders all vying for positions, we've also got a number of central midfielders which can't keep out of Angela's massage parlour at Kirkby, yeah, because they keep on getting injured.
Yeah.
So maybe it's only the front three, the forward players, which have been, and the defensive players, which have been consistently fit this season. So maybe it is time to turn around and say, listen, boys, you might have to play a couple of games because you lot can't stay off the treatment table. So we're going to have to do a little some. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you saying, SS?
Hey, it's a good point. I mean, it speaks for itself, the record that Thiago and Fabinho have in midfield together. And, the only downside of it is we've not seen it enough because Thiago's not been fit. That's pretty much it. So when it's been there, it's been very, very successful. So what better time than to try it than against bottom of the league Burnley? If you start with a front four, sometimes it can be a bit cavalier. There's a lot of teams in this league that will catch you out, and he's very used to playing that 4-3-3, isn't he? Which he sticks to. But we've seen it. We've seen it before. We've not seen it for a while, but now we've got 5 options. Even if we start a front four, we've still then got a 5th option on the bench if one of them come off injured or need a rest to keep that formation. So it's a great point. I mean, yes, we're more used to seeing the front four when we need a goal. That now we need to stick Firmino in the 10. Now we put Jota through. We've got Mane. We've got Salah. Now we've got Diaz to that. But it's kind of a double one for me because you want to prepare for Inter Milan. It's a different challenge to Burnley, but why not? That's how you start to be, more 4-dimensional, don't you? You can't just say every week it's 4-3-3 no matter who we play. Now we've got different players in different positions. Why can't we start trying a 4-2-3 now and again? I'd like to see it more. So what better time than to try it, really?
Well, this is just it. I want to take a moment to cast our minds back to a time where our namesake, the Fab Four, were at Liverpool Football Club for that brief period. Coutinho, Salah, Mane, Firmino, all on the pitch at the same time. Do you remember how damn sexy that football was?
So many goals.
Sexy. It was sexy, that was.
You
Like,
knew it was dangerous when you seen it on the team sheet.
oh man,
And they did all that thing when they were all like that, and then they at the start, it's like.
this is what I mean. It was damn sexy. Like every time they just entered the park, you knew it was bangers upon bangers. Like it was. We scored in every game. You could not keep that quiet.
Yeah.
You couldn't keep it quiet. Defenses would go, "Fuck it, they're gonna score, so let's just let it happen." Hell, what? Fuck it, let's just score an own goal because it's gonna happen. Do you know? Do you know what I mean?
There was like 6-0 wins, 7-0 wins, was it as well? Maribor or something. Just goals galore.
We parked off Porto. Do you remember we just parked Porto? Like Porto just was like, listen, you're a Champions League whipping boys. Get out of here. Like in the orange kit. Firmino just. It was just disgusting. And why can't we see that again? We now have the personnel to bring back the Fab Four. Like, I'm starting a petition. And like, if I get enough numbers, I'm going to go all the way to the Houses of Parliament. Bring back the Fab Four for Liverpool. This is what we need: Diaz, Mane, Firmino, and Salah, or Diaz, Mane, Jota, whatever combination of that you want to use. We now have the numbers, and this is a very interesting one from Ali A. Big shout out to you as well. I'm here for this too. I'm here for this. You know, he's got the talent. We have got so much strength in depth across the whole entire squad that we can mix this up. Anyway, enough salivating over what we could potentially look like. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. What we could potentially look like, you know, for the drumming of Burnley, and then I'd probably give it the kiss of death when we lose 1-0. But never mind. Just quickly before we get into the close, how do we feel that the Diaz impact has been? The January signing grabbed his first Premier League start and slotted right in like he's always been there. Will Mane come back into the squad and take his place? I mean, we've already discussed it, but let's just perv over Diaz's debut against Leicester. Leicester got torn a new rear end. Schmeichel was like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" Because he's drilling balls at my head. What do we think, guys?
Absolute Klopp masterclass. He just knows what he wants and he buys it.
Do you know what? I feel like Klopp would be like the perfect partner in like supermarket sweep. He'd always get the bonus ball. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Dale Winton wouldn't even know what time it was. He'd be like, "Listen, I brought my boy Klopp. We're going for the plastic guitar or the big banana with the bonus prize on it." That's Jurgen Klopp. Trust me.
No, he's been excellent, isn't he? He's slotted perfectly in, and like you say, they've done their homework on him. You know, he was going to come in the summer, wasn't he? But they had to act a little bit quicker, and that's maybe put a bit more pressure on this current team. You know, links with Mane potentially to Spain, etc. But you know, in January we've now got, you know, kind of a 4 or 5 months of fitting 5 into 3. Will that turn into 4 into 3? I hope not. But no, he's come straight in, and yeah, great comment there. He's got the DNA, hasn't he, of what Liverpool look for in a player. And you mentioned that front four we had before with Coutinho coming off the left, you know, with the skills, etc. Diaz reminds me a little bit of Coutinho in terms of his footballing ability, with ball at his feet, cutting in on his right foot. So I do think it could be a very Coutinho-esque kind of style, but he's kind of got more than Coutinho. He can run quicker with the ball than Coutinho could. He's got more strength.
He's a Suarez vibe. He's Suarez vibes for me,
bro. I know you said that the other day.
Suarez vibes, man.
I disagree.
Really?
Suarez is small, tenacious, turns quickly.
He's all of that, mate.
Yeah, I think Diaz is more of a Coutinho from 5 years ago.
For Porto, he was winning it back in their half. Like, he won it back most times. Like,
this is what I'm saying. But this is the thing. I just think maybe without the comparison with those two players, I just think it's like a South American thing. Yeah, it's a South American thing. Those guys out there are like, they're raised to be all or nothing. It's all or nothing. That's my ball. You've got my ball, so I'm going to take it from you, and then I'm going to ram it down your throat. Like this is that's the only kind of
That's
way I
the
can do.
Southern version.
Yeah, 100%. Like they
Drink
just want
it down your throat.
Yeah, they want it. They want it more, though. They want it more. I'm gonna ram this ball down your throat. They want it more. It's like. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, how would you like to die? Do you see what I'm saying? It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
And I just think it's Suarez vibes. Like even down to the assist. How many times did we see Suarez running down that baseline and just slip it across for Sturridge to tap it home?
True.
It was a carbon copy. And then without getting too far ahead of myself, this is why I think the 4-2-3-1 could be perfect, because you've got that little magician Carvalho ripping up the championship, who we're trying to bring in. Whether it's done or not, I don't know. He gives me like major Coutinho vibes. That for me is just like the second coming. So I just really, really think that he's just slotted in. Like Diaz is just like he's always been there. It doesn't look. It's almost like.
I feel like as soon as he walked in, though, as soon as he walked into the training centre, it was just like.
Like it was just normal, weren't it?
Yeah. He was meant to be there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like he cracks me up though, because he looks quite short on the TV, doesn't he? He looks quite short. And like the way he's walking around with his baseball cap on, he looks like a kid that's on like a little work experience thing, doesn't he? Because he was looked at Verge, he was like, he's massive.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I was like, dude, you were just on a football picture of him the other week, bro. Like you seen how big this guy is, and he's almost like, it's Virgil van Dijk. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can see, he's a fan. You can see he's a fanboy as well, which is good. I like that.
Will he get his first goal tomorrow?
Oh, mate, can you imagine? Could it
be good?
It would be great if he got his first goal at Anfield. But I feel any Anfield goal is a special goal. Do you see what I'm saying?
Still your first Anfield goal.
Yeah, any Anfield goal is a special goal. Right, let's just get through a couple more of your comments. Yeah, you know, it's over. It's over.
Little assist for Carvalho today. 3-0 win.
This is what I'm saying, man. That kid, just quickly, that kid is frightening. He's frightening. What is he, 19?
Yeah.
Mate, it's frightening what he's doing. He's destroying the championship. Yeah, if you haven't, check out his games. I'm not talking about jumping on YouTube and watching highlights. Lock in to a Fulham game, and watch this kid destroy oppositions. And it's the desire to always want the ball. Whether he's had it nicked off him, it's just a desire to get it back. Like you can't teach that. Beautiful thing. What's this one? This signing will up Mane's level. Yeah, I agree. What do we think? Do we reckon it's going to kick Mane on?
I hope so. It's either going to kick him on or kick him out, isn't it? One of the two.
I feel like he did. I feel like when he's seen that we signed him, I feel like that's what put a bit of fire in his belly for the AFCON. Because he was playing great in the AFCON, and it was kind of just like it was like a response.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of like, you know what? Like, don't forget about me. Like,
I'm still here.
I think we'll see Mane tomorrow. Not sure how long for, but we will see him.
It'll be nice to see him. Barker Senior. I think we're all on this vibe. I think the whole LFC fan base is in unison about this.
It's just add a zero for the price if you get Bellingham instead.
And we want it to happen, but I don't think they're different style players. I think Bellingham could potentially be a season away, 2 seasons away. I reckon he would be. You know, you get that signing, which is like the cherry on top, which was like the Van Dijk signing.
So spenny.
Well, this is it. I think he'll be the cherry on top. Like the Van Dijk signing was a cherry on top. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think Bellingham will be that little bit after we've assembled the cake. You put the cherry on top, and that'll be it.
I think Van Dijk was the base layer. That's what we've been missing for years, not the cherry.
Well, okay. Who was the cherry then?
Van Dijk was the sponge that we didn't have. Yeah,
Van Dijk
he was the sponge. We had the cherry and the icing. We just didn't have the cake. That's what Van Dijk brought.
Oh God! All right, just quickly before we close, because we're coming to the end. What was a general consensus on our Twitter page in regards to the best Klopp signing? Because I feel like we should reveal this.
And I had a little look, and Van Dijk won it. I counted him up. I'm sad like that.
Yeah. I think so. I think Van Dijk did win it, didn't he?
He did, which was mine as well. Just trying to throw that in there
quite comfortably. I didn't actually say mine.
You
Courtney
did.
B,
You
who?
said Fabinho, didn't you?
I don't think
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
did.
did. I said Fabinho. I did say
No, I
Fabinho.
don't think I've seen it. I haven't seen
Courtney,
it.
what's your Van
Mine
Dijk's
would be
sorry, your Klopp signing?
Verge, definitely Verge.
Verge.
Literally every
Verge.
single comment is Verge. Every
It
single one.
is.
It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
I'm
Like,
looking now, and it's all Verge.
it's what we needed, and we got exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
And
And we waited as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we waited
We've
as well,
got it
didn't
more
we?
when you've got to wait.
Yeah. Oh look! Oh, this is sexy as well. Look at this. Allier, keep bringing me the vibes, bro. Keep bringing me the vibes.
I think Allier's on the inside here. He's got
He
some
must be
in the know.
Yeah, tell us which one of the dinner ladies you talk to. The news is out there. Mane wants to move on to bigger club to win the Champions League. Remy, I hate to break it to you.
You don't need to move for that.
Sadio Mane's main aim in coming to Europe. And again, I watched it in a clip this today as well. But it's well documented that his main aim when he came to European football was number one, to win the Champions League. He's done that. Number two, play in the Premier League and win a Premier League. He's done that. And number three, win the AFCON and be named African Player of the Year. In Africa, Samuel Eto'o is lauded as probably one of the best, if not the best, African player ever to play the game. And you know, Mane is one of Mane's idols, essentially. So he's trying to get that AFCON Player of the Year to say, do you know what, I've done it. But let's be honest, if you want to win the Champions League, where else do you stand a better chance of doing it in the here and now than at Liverpool Football Club? Where else do you stand a chance? Madrid are way off. They're way off. Why are you going to go and want to be part of a rebuild? Barcelona are way off. PSG are way off. You know, Liverpool Football Club have won every single game in the group of death, and we're now through to the knockouts to play against an Inter Milan. I mean, it might even be this season. No, I get you might get the vibe of he's done everything he can do, he's achieved of all he can achieve, but unless it's groundbreaking sums of money, I don't think Liverpool Football Club let him go. I really, really don't. And then at which point, in 18 months, he might walk out on a free. But in 18 months' time, he's 33. And we would have had all our value out of him at 33, 34. So, Remy, on this occasion, I'd politely disagree. I think Sadio Mane will be here after the summer because I don't think any clubs will be able to pay the fee that Liverpool will want. You're probably talking the region of 40 to 50 million pounds. I don't think Barcelona have that money. I don't think Real Madrid have that money, especially as they're chasing Mbappe, Paul Pogba, muted to be linked with moves to Real Madrid, you know, and Barcelona chasing Erling Haaland as well. I just don't think a move is there for him at this present time. Guys, we're at the end of the show. The sad part. But before we go, score predictions, please. We'll start with you, Courtney B.
It's always me.
Age before beauty. Age before beauty.
Do you mean age before beauty?
I'm joking.
Yeah, I bet. I'm gonna go 3-0.
3-0. Oh, the son and daughter father and daughter disagreement.
I was right last time, though. I was right 2-0.
You were.
The last one.
Yeah, with the Big Tens.
What we going?
I'm going 4-0. Salah to get at least one. Jota at least one. I think Diaz gets his first goal as well. So I'm going to spread the goals out nicely. Maybe a Van Dijk header as well, or Trent. He's in
the mood.
I want a
He's in the mood.
Matip
would be lovely. Matip would be
that assist that he got, like the little look on his face. I was wanting to get a goal. He just needs it.
He needs a goal, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he needs a goal.
4-0 would be lovely.
I'm going for a 2-0.
Honestly, bad vibes sometimes.
What? Why? Why am I bad
Up
vibes?
It. Courtney's gone in there at 3. I've gone at 4. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
bad vibes. Don't
No,
be putting
don't
in the group chat tomorrow about someone getting injured. Don't even go there. I'll block you.
Kick him out of the group.
Yeah.
Good lad.
Even my boy knows. He knows it's going to be 2-0. He knows it's going to be a 2-0. Yeah, he knows. He knows it's a 2-0. I'm going 2. Yeah, I'm going 2. I think it's 2-0. Goal scorers. I think that the Egyptian King gets one. And I think Diaz gets one. I don't think Jota scores tomorrow. I think Diaz gets one.
I hope Jota gets a hat trick. Proves you wrong.
Mate, I'd love it. I'm here for it. Prove me wrong. Go and get it. Go and do it. Do it. Yeah,
wouldn't even be in the team if it was up to you.
No, I think he makes an appearance, but I don't think he starts. But because I'd rather him go and tear Inter Milan apart. That's what I'd rather. Yeah. I'd rather him go and destroy Inter. To be fair. Yeah, we're closing. Yeah, why players are running down contracts? No one can afford them. I agree with you. Totally agree. COVID has put a real
player power, isn't it? A lot of players doing this now.
Yeah, I agree. I refer to it as the LeBron effect. No player other than LeBron James in history has been able to pick who he plays with in every single team he's played for and picked which team he goes for because he signed supermax contracts where he runs down his initial deal and signs a supermax contract. A lot of sports personnel are doing it. So it's true. I agree. Right. We're at the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. I've been Tiago's father. This has been my co-host, Southern Scouser, and the lovely Courtney B. We're over and we are out.